guys, this is Katie Reads Books. In case you're new here, my name is Kat. I produce content for Bookworms at least 1 or 2 times a week and host live read-ins and write-ins every other Saturday. Today I'm here to bring you an interview with author Derek Borne, who wrote the Ultimate Agent series. He's here today to talk to us a little bit about him finishing up his trilogy and what comes next for him. So let's get started. Yay! That works a lot better. Alright, cool. So I figured it might be fun to start with just, where you're from, what you do when you're not writing.
Playing Marvel's Lego superheroes on my laptop.
That's cool. I didn't know they had one for the laptop.
I was able to download it from Steam.
Oh, I like Steam. I like Steam a lot.
Yeah. Every once in a while they have deals, so I go, okay, what's on the deal right now?
I found one that was called Lifeless Planet. It was like 89 cents or something. Oh. It was super cheap, so I picked it up. It was pretty fun. Do you have pets?
I have a bearded dragon.
A bearded dragon? Do you really? That's fun.
She's 8 years old.
What's her name?
Ziggy.
Ziggy.
Yeah.
What made you want to get a bearded dragon?
I'm allergic to cats. My wife is not we just don't have the circumstances for a dog. Mm-hmm. So we thought a lizard's a nice in-between. Plus they're cool. And I've always been a lizard dinosaur kind of guy. So
that's fun. Are you gonna dress her up for Halloween?
We've thought about getting her like little wings that you can actually strap on their backs. She doesn't like it when things are on her, so.
Our library used to have a bearded dragon, and they dressed her up for Halloween one year, and they kept having to like put her costume back on. And I was like, "Geez, leave her alone. She doesn't want it."
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, she always looks at me like I'm an idiot.
Well, I think probably all reptiles think humans are inferior.
Probably.
I think they probably are a little bit jaded that they didn't get to inherit the world.
Yeah.
So what's your dream job and your author goals?
Dream job? I don't know if I have a dream job, honestly. Whatever I try to do with everything I got. Like, I'm having fun making cooking videos for the store, because that way I've always been, I don't know, I kind of like being an entertainer a little bit, but at least this way I'm helping people learn how to cook and also use our products.
Yeah.
So, I enjoy doing that. It's a way for me being in someone's home on the screen, because they can watch those videos over YouTube too.
Right. What about author goals?
I don't think that I will ever write to market, but I'm just gonna keep writing what I enjoy writing.
That's awesome.
Because everywhere I look, it's always magic and paranormal, but I want to write about dinosaurs. I want to write about a young Bigfoot entering society. I want to write about I've got some thriller ideas that I'm working on, that'll make people maybe never want to get a pet again.
Oh no. You scar them on everything but the bearded dragon.
Maybe.
So if you could pick a superpower, what would it be?
Oof. Teleportation.
Teleportation. That would be a good one. Just
go
to Italy anytime you wanted.
Exactly. I'm all about traveling.
So you've been to Italy before, right? That's why it shows up in a lot of the UA books? Okay.
Yeah. Just once. It was the Amalfi Coast. We were supposed to go in May, but that didn't happen.
Right.
Thankfully, we got all our money back for the flight and all the Airbnbs. So it's not that we're never going to go again. Once things open up, we're going.
Right. That'll be good.
So, yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, how would you explain to them what the Ultimate Agent books are about?
It's basically a arms race for superpowers. Along the way, the superheroes come across the cryptids, as you've so nicely displayed on your back shelf. Bigfoot, Mothman, Loch Ness, Michigan Dogman, Kraken, Minotaur. And it just answers some questions like what happens if you have too many powers, and if certain things happen, like how could that actually be a detriment? Also, really just what makes someone a hero?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of at the core of the UA universe, and also very strong on family and what family is.
Right.
As well.
Yeah, I liked that about the books, how much they focused on family, and not just biological family, but found family, and how they can be one and the same. Was really nice. So, was this your first story that you've ever tried to get out there and put on paper, or did you like write short stories in school, or what's that like?
When I was little, we used to go to Myrtle Beach almost once a year, and I started writing, and I used to save these to floppy disks. But I used to call them Myrtle Beach Mysteries.
Ooh.
And they were just kind of dumb and silly, but it was my own version of the places I'd been to, like Ripley's Aquarium or mini golf places and things that just, I can't even remember how some of the stories went, but I used to love writing those.
That's fun. That's awesome.
I think that kind of started things, and then I started trying to write my own sequels to things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wrote an Agent Cody Banks sequel of my own. I used to love those movies. I actually had a massive crush on Hilary Duff at the time.
Oh, funny.
So, yeah, I watched a lot of Lizzie McGuire.
My sister used to make me watch that show.
Make you?
Yeah.
I wrote my own Spider-Man sequel kind of thing with my own hero sidekick.
Yeah.
His name was Dino-Man.
Of course.
He could transform into any dinosaur he wanted.
That's awesome. That's a great superpower.
I look back now and I'm going, kind of dumb, but...
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So, DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
I feel like everybody I ask says that. Like, I've never had anybody say DC.
I feel like you can just relate to the characters better
Mm-hmm.
with Marvel. DC is always like gods or, super omnipotent aliens whose weakness is a rock.
Yeah, I think it they're a little bit darker too. Like, I don't think they handle things with as much like hope and positive outlook. It's more like, the dire is happening.
Yeah. I mean, Marvel got a little darker once it got into the Infinity War and Endgame and all that, but
Yep.
Still have tons of humor.
Yeah. Lots of things to laugh at. And there was always something at the end that was like a glimmer of things that are going to keep going. I think Spider-Man was like Stan Lee's big one for that. Have you seen the new Spider-Man what's it called? The Amazing Spider-Man or the Miles
Into the
Morales
Spider-Verse?
ones? Yes, Into the Spider-Verse.
Actually, I watched that a couple months ago and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I believe they're working on the sequel right now.
Oh, that makes me happy.
So, I mean, the fact that, from what I've heard in smatterings of rumors, is that the Tobey Maguire series and the Andrew Garfield series are, because of Doctor Strange's next movie of Multiverse of Madness, is actually going to connect a lot of that together.
Oh.
So there may be a Spider-Verse literally in movies in the future,
where
Toby and Andrew and Tom Holland will be together as different Spider-Mans.
Yes, I need this in my life.
Yeah, I mean, both Marvel and DC are trying to bring in the multiverse to their movie universes, and I just think that's going to be so cool.
It is going to be really cool. Yeah, I'm excited about that. That sounds fun.
Because then you can literally do anything.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Anything.
no... That's like the best way to open up writing is just to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
No boundaries at all.
Yeah. Basically.
So who's your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah? He's
I
classic.
think, yeah. I think when you look at a character like him, and just the way they wrote how he's trying to just handle life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the everyman, basically.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the girl, doesn't have the girl, had homework, has to have a job, has to look after his old aunt.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, try to save the world.
From crazy people like Doc Ock and...
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's yeah, he's a good one. I like Spider-Man. He's a good... I feel like he's where everybody starts with superheroes, you know? Like, I know some kids start out on Batman and Superman, but I know all of my kids have gotten into superheroes with Spider-Man. It's been like the one that they go to.
Yeah. I do actually, my second would have to be Captain America.
You like Captain America?
I do. I know a lot of people think he's boring, but the fact that he always tries to do what's right,
Mm-hmm.
even as Civil War brought out, it's either one way or another, but to him, it's just, if you believe in what you believe in, plant yourself like a tree and say, no, you move.
So who inspired each of your characters from The Ultimate Agent?
I know for a lot of people that have read the series, they say, I see a lot of you in each character.
I think that's inevitable.
Yeah. I know for a lot of the sarcasm from some of the characters, that comes from my wife, because she can be pretty sarcastic. Because sometimes I'll write a scene, and then I go, now, what would you say in this instance? And then she would say it, and I go, that's perfect. I'm gonna say it.
That's
so
fun.
She's a bit of my muse in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I have a few friends that I base some of the characters on. It was more fun writing Spencer the second time around, because I don't know if... I think I told you before, like, I originally wrote the UA trilogy when I was 14 to 17.
Yeah, you did tell me that, yeah.
And there really just wasn't much to him to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got to go through it again, it was like breathing a fresh air into his character from just more experiences in life and meeting different people, and kind of go, okay, well, yeah, he's been thrust into a very interesting and not normal situation, so how would he respond to that? A lot of sarcasm, especially.
Right, yeah, that's coping mechanism for sure. How did you decide and I don't know how spoilery you want to get, but the way that powers are given to people, like, how did you come up with that? What inspired that?
I've always appreciated how Marvel comes at things from a very scientific point of view, as scientific as you can get with sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to almost like my own version of how Cap gets his abilities.
Okay.
But just with actual, like, huge on the research of the genetic code.
Yeah. And
what you add to the genetic code to make it different, whether it's from animal DNA or like what you can find from different minerals and things like that. Just really the building blocks of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always been really interesting to me, especially in the last few years, of how the universe could not exist if atoms were slightly different.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Because you got the proton, the neutron, and the electron. If the proton was heavier than the neutron, rather than slightly lighter as it is, atoms could not exist.
Right.
Like, how can you say, first of all, that everything happened by chance, but that the atom works so perfectly for life to live in this universe? That is the building block of everything. So when you get into atoms and then the genetic code and how complex it is, like, there's there's so much to it that we can't even fathom.
I liked how bringing it into that scientific context allowed you to really lean into that arms race part of things. I thought it made it so that the need to get the villain was much greater than just curses gone again. You know, it was very like, nope, we have to do something.
Yeah. And I've always looked at shows like, say, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how they've got all this tech to watch and make sure things even don't happen before they happen. But when you're dealing with different organizations that have people that have superpowers, holy crap, there's something happening in Australia.
Yeah.
We got to go right now. Like, it's, as you try to do the best job you can and get all the intel you can, but things are going to happen at any time.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of wanted UA to be like, okay, well, there's something happening in Australia. Let's go. Let's make sure we take down Romanov.
Right. Yeah. And then you were able to kind of use that to the advantage of the antagonist also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it always didn't make sense that they were not attacking somewhere in the United States, but other places around the world.
Right. Did you think it was easier to write your heroes or to write your villains?
Easier to write the heroes, but I found I had a lot more fun writing villains in especially UA3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just to bring in a little more complexity.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because there's the villain that comes back in UA3.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I like that your villains weren't just madmen. You know, like, of course they're madmen at this point, but they had like a building up. So it wasn't so much that they were just mindless crazy people as much as it was like, nope, these are the events that shaped this person into being a horrible person.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to give the reason. I put it as a line in my newest book that I'm working on, the Dino Rift book, of basically saying, if you give the villain the right backstory, even you can fall in love with the villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that in any book. Like, if you give me a villain that I'm like, you have to go down and that makes me feel really bad, but like also, man, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all human.
Right. So,
unless you're an alien from another planet.
Well, and that does happen. That does happen. It does happen. Man, whenever they get here, they're going to be really disappointed. So, you've finished a book, and you've experienced what it's like to finish a book and to hold it in your hands and have this thing that you made. But, like, how is that different, and how is it the same as finishing a trilogy?
I will say one thing. When I finished writing Ultimate Agent 3, there was a lot of scenes in that book that got me emotional, just because it is an emotionally charged book. I had a good cry when I finished it. Just because, and I said this in another author interview on the weekend, is I've had these characters since I was a teen.
Right.
So they've been a part of me for a very long time, and now I have to have it in a paperback or an ebook and say, I'm done with you, live your life in other people's hands.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid if people judge you harshly.
So bittersweet.
It's very different.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you find that you had a moment of like not necessarily wanting to move on to writing something else, or were you pretty excited to move on to the next thing?
I'm excited to move on because, first of all, Dino Rift's been sitting as half a book for a little bit now, so I need to get back and finish that. But I don't know. I actually, to be completely honest, I started writing a second trilogy for the Ultimate Agent.
Yeah.
And then, because I wanted to move on to something different, I took elements of that second trilogy and just tied it into UA3 and hopefully put a nice little bow on it.
Yeah.
So there's, I wouldn't say a lot from that second trilogy, but there were a few things that I wanted to bring in just to finish certain character arcs.
Right. So no spin-offs then? That was one of my questions.
Well,
spin-offs.
We might see a young Bigfoot enter society.
That would be really fun.
I also have an idea to maybe help a certain character get back to her home planet.
Okay. All right. So sort of maybe spin-offs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun.
My own little universe, as they say.
All right. So then the last question that I had is just to tell us a little bit about. You've mentioned it a couple times, Dino Rift. So like, what's next? What are you wanting to do next? Is it a standalone?
So,
how's it going?
Dino Rift.
Yeah, that's fun. I love that.
I
meant to use my UA mug. I meant to have it with me.
I know you have it. But yeah, Dino Rift is kind of my passion project because, as we mentioned before, I just love dinosaurs.
Right.
But I've always wanted to kind of come at it as, what if everything we were told about dinosaurs was wrong?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what would man do with that information? Because I've always been a Michael Crichton fan, and how he comes at things ethically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always that question, yeah, you can make dinosaurs, but should you?
Right.
So if man knew something about dinosaurs that was completely wrong compared to what we know, and they had access to them through time rifts, what would they do with that information? More times than not, exploit it.
Right.
So there's this organization that's been doing that, but very covertly. And then there's a couple teenagers in Utah that stumble across what they're doing, and they get caught, and they get thrown into the dinosaur world. I kind of
love that they're from Utah, because everybody's like, nothing ever happens in Utah. So for this thing to be happening in the middle of a state like Utah.
Yeah, is there's actually a raptor named the Utah Raptor.
Oh yeah? I didn't know that.
And so that's also some inspiration for this book. And it's kind of, because I have a bearded dragon, I'm using her as a bit of my muse as well, because there is a dinosaur that kind of befriends them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And just how, like, Ziggy will look at me like I'm an idiot, I kind of put that into the book a little bit too. So
that's really fun.
Yeah.
So are you thinking standalone, or are you thinking this is going to be more than one book?
I'm thinking standalone, but we were watching a movie on the weekend, and it was like a 5th, 6th century movie.
Mm-hmm.
It involved King Arthur. The First Knight, where Sean Connery plays King Arthur.
I haven't seen that one.
Richard Gere too. And as I'm watching it, I'm going, it'd be interesting. Someone in the 5th, 6th century was living their life, and then all of a sudden a time rift opens up, and some prehistoric creature just plops itself into the 5th, 6th century.
So we're just gonna start getting some science fiction, historical fiction. What would you call that?
I don't have an official title yet, but I have one in my mind, and if I say it, it might be a spoiler as to what the creature is.
Okay. All right. It sounds like you've got some really fun stuff coming up. When is your goal for having Dino Rift out on the market?
I'm hoping early 2021.
All right.
If I can get my butt in gear and stop playing Marvel superhero, Lego superhero.
Don't let us take you away from your superhero work. I mean, really, somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to wear the cape. All right.
I love your Doctor Who thing in the back, by the way.
Thanks, man. My little TARDIS.
Love it.
I used to have a little Dalek, but his little beely bopper on the front got broken, and he just made me sad to look at. So
he just can't. What is it? Annihilate?
Can't. Yeah. Exterminate.
Exterminate. Yeah, you just can't exterminate anymore.
Yeah, yeah. He lost his little suction cup, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're like you're neutered now. This is sad for you.
A neutered dollar. Now, hey, pitch that to the writers.
You know, I've heard some people say that those writers need some help. I haven't gotten into the new Doctor Who season yet, but I'm almost dreading it because other Whovians are like, why? The writers are failing. I'm like, oh, man.
The second season of Peter Capaldi, we stopped watching.
Yeah, that's where I'm stuck too. And it's not even that I don't like Peter Capaldi. I think it's just like, I don't know, I'm bored with him already. It makes me sad.
Yeah. David Tennant, though.
I love David Tennant.
For me, was the best.
I liked Christopher Eccleston, but he was only around for one season.
So
people are always like, who? And I'm like, the first one of the new series. He was only there for one season, but he was cool.
I appreciated his arc, but what's kind of funny is, you ever seen this Reface app?
No.
So I went and found this GIF, and it puts your face on it.
That's brilliant. I love it. That's awesome. Alright, any other quick plugs or things that you want to throw out for people who are interested in your work before I turn it off the recording?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. The third and, well, technically the fourth in the series, Ultimate Agent 3, comes out September 29th. I am super excited. I'm waiting for the paperback proof to come in. So as soon as that is in, I'll be dropping the pre-order link officially. And I hope you guys like it. I really do. Superheroes, spies, cryptids. What more can you ask for?
Alright, that was our interview with Derek. If you liked what you saw here, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so that you get notified anytime I post a new video. And when I go live on Saturdays, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Katie Reid Author. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.